The federal government's spendings in the economy have benefited the public and private sectors. That's coming from the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, who told Channels Television that the federal government is working on a strategy to get out of difficult times the country is experiencing. Mrs. Adeosun was speaking on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily.
When you're going through a structural change of the nature that we're going through in the economy, and it's a very radical structural change, we've had a shock to our major revenue source. We've had a fairly large macro hits on the economy. We are engaging with the NESG and we're trying to understand how is this impacting you and how can government best support you. Now those supports are a number of measures. The stimulus spending is private sector driven. The money we're spending is being paid to contractors. These are private sector contractors. We're not doing public works. In other words, government is not directly spending money. We're spending the money through the private sector. So there is a contraction in certain areas, and we do need to sit down and work out how we address and how we best support companies that are hurting at this difficult time. For example, tax is one of the issues. There's a tax policy review committee that will set up under Professor Sunny that has taken the submissions on the problems in the tax system, and the draft report is now ready, and we'll be pushing out the tax policy going forward. Some of those measures will help to sort out the problems that the manufacturing sector and other sectors are experiencing.
Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. Senate President Bukola Saraki has advised the executive to raise capital from the sale of the nation's assets and other sources to shore up reserves. Senator Saraki made this recommendation as the Senate resumed plenary after its annual recess. Addressing the lawmakers, the Senate President, that is, recommended other measures to address the country's economic challenges, just as some House of Assembly members also bore their minds on the matter. Our correspondent Dina Kigbe reports.
The National Assembly comes alive as Parliament resumes after a 2-month recess. Inside the upper chamber, the Senate President speaks on the economic crisis facing the country. He says the recession and consequent economic problems confronting the country requires urgent and drastic solutions. Senator Saraki gives some suggestions which he believes would give investors confidence, discourage currency speculation and stabilize the economy.
The executive must raise capital from asset sales and other sources to shore up foreign reserves. The measures should include sales of holdings in liquid natural gas investment, reduction of government share in upstream oil venture operations, and sale of government stake in financial institutions, privatization and concession of the airports. The executive must consider tweaking the pension funds policy within international best practices to accommodate for investment in infrastructure and mortgages.
Senator Saraki appears to be on the same page with industrial mogul Aliko Dangote, who has also advised the government to sell off some of its assets. But the advice to privatize and concession airports and refineries are already generating strong reactions in the country.
Thereafter,
in the House of Representatives, although the Speaker did not delve into the economic challenges facing the country, it is obvious that the recession is on the minds of some lawmakers.
I'm very sure that the issue of economy will take the front burner on the floor of the House. Anywhere in the world, the Parliament is like a catalyst that stirs up economy in such situations like this.
The economy is passing through some challenges, and we know that all the arms of government have a role to play. Now, we are going to focus more on what we need to do to support the executive to ensure that Nigerians are pulled out of, or Nigerian economy is pulled out of recession.
The Senate is devoting the next 2 days to debating the state of the economy and going through the recommendations made by the Senate President. Now, if these recommendations are agreed and passed by federal lawmakers, they would be sent to the executive. From the National Assembly, Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
The United States has reiterated its pledge to assist Nigeria decimate Boko Haram, which it describes as another branch of ISIS. President Muhammadu Buhari met with President Barack Obama on the sidelines of the 71st United Nations General Assembly holding in New York City. President Obama describes Nigeria as a very important country in the Committee of Nations, which is why his administration decided to assist the Buhari administration in the fight against corruption and terror. On his part, President Buhari thanked President Obama for his assistance so far in the fight against terror, especially the training of the Nigerian military.
Bilateral talks are very important to world leaders, and President Buhari takes time out of the general debate to hold talks with as many of the leaders as possible. The meeting with President François Hollande of France came first and was quickly followed by that of President Barack Obama on the sideline of the 71st UNGA. The American president describes Nigeria as a very important country in the Committee of Nations. He pledges continuous support in the area of agriculture and the economy and commends the effort so far to recover stolen funds. He says he is coordinating a strategy that will deal a final blow to Boko Haram, which he describes as a branch of ISIS.
To restrict Boko Haram, a brutal organization affiliated with ISIL that has killed an enormous number of people and decimated communities there. Because of President Buhari's leadership, he has been able to refocus the Nigerian military. We are coordinating carefully, and we discussed here today additional ways that we can make further progress, not only in destroying this branch of ISIL, but also to make sure that the people in this region are able to recover from the devastation of Boko Haram's occupation.
President Buhari is grateful to all those who helped to stabilize Nigeria's polity and for the training received so far by the Nigerian military, which has gone a long way to decimate Boko Haram.
Our major problem we identified and we mentioned during our campaigns about security, economy and corruption. And in each of the three identified objectives, the United States help us, training our military, helping with hardware and software. That's why we are very successful in the northeast, where Boko Haram was holding clearly 14 out of 774 local government, and they declared a caliphate. Now they are not holding a single one.
The American president is serving his last term, but he promises to put in place a framework for continuous partnership with Nigeria even after leaving office. From the United Nations headquarters in New York City, Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
Let's take you now to Abuja, where Gloria Omezuke is standing by with more on the news at 10. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, Amarachi. The Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Yahaya Bello as the governor of Kogi State. The 7-man panel, headed by Justice Sylvester Ngwata, affirmed his victory after listening to the closing statements of all the council. The court also said they will provide reasons for its decision on September the 30th.
We are grateful to God for a very fantastic judgment, and it really goes to develop more of our jurisprudence on a very knotty issue that was really worrisome to many people in Nigeria. And I think the judgment is fantastic. We await their reasons, but the bottom line is that the appeals all lack merit, and that affirms the concurrent findings of the trial tribunal and the Court of Appeal. And now this is the final court.
In the words of Shakespeare, all is well that ends well. This matter has come to an end, and we are waiting for their reasons on the 30th of September.
Meanwhile, Governor Yahaya Bello says today's ruling is a victory for the people of Kogi State. Governor Bello appealed to the immediate past governor of the state, Captain Idris Wada, and Mr. James Falike to team up with his administration to ensure the development of the state. He also promised to ensure he provides good governance while initiating programs that will impact positively on the lives of those resident in the state.
I want to specifically appreciate the Supreme Court who have displayed once again, one, that they are truly independent and in their wisdom have allowed the law to take its course. I want to use this opportunity to call on all my brothers, starting from our brother and father, the former governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Idris Ichalawada. Kogi State belongs to all of us. Please come and join me and give us your fatherly advice. I'll call on my brother, Honorable James Abiodun Falike, to join me in rebuilding the state. The state has bled well enough. Since its creation, that's 25 years ago, we must give it a new lease of life.
It appears the leadership crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party may be coming to an end as the factions of Senator Ahmed Markafi and Senator Ali Modu Sheriff have agreed to sheath their swords. The secretary of the Markafi-led Tech Caretaker Committee, Senator Ben Obi, and the deputy chairman of Senator Ali Modu Sheriff-led faction told journalists at a joint press conference in Abuja that all differences are being resolved. The two group leaders have also agreed to set up a joint committee that will reconcile other aggrieved members of the party.
At a meeting held this morning between the two of us, His Excellency Senator Ali Modu Sheriff and His Excellency Senator Ahmed Markafi, CON, a holistic review of the state of affairs of our great party, the PDP, was deliberated upon. In reviewing the crisis that has engulfed our party, the PDP, since the loss of the 2015 general elections after 16 years of uninterrupted leadership at the center, it became obvious to both of us as principal actors that it is time to heal the wounds. Based on the above, we have both agreed to A, consult widely with all relevant organs of the party. B, set up a joint committee that will carry out a holistic reconciliation of all aggrieved segments of our party across the country and in diaspora.
The two leaders met this morning and decided that it was time to put an end to the crisis that has engulfed the PDP. And to that extent, they decided to issue a joint statement. And that's why you noticed I, for instance, came in late because I was running between the two of them to make sure that this was achieved. So as we speak today, the PDP is back as one family.
Still ahead on the news at 10, financial analysts react to central bank's decision to leave key rates unchanged, say action may not solve economic downturn. Well, that's in business news. Let's join us again.